guys, so look at that. The filter wall is, it's not complete. Obviously, we're gonna drywall this, but here she is. It's looking a lot different than it did just a little bit ago. We finished this up pretty late last night. Now, this is kind of the design I was talking about in the last video. How you see there's this channel here. Well, the filter should tuck there, and then we'll put chicken wire all the way down here so the, you know, it'll suck in, but it won't suck through, and it'll hold itself in and won't fall, you know, just fall out because it'll tuck behind the wood here. Here's our fan all sitting pretty in here. We do need to go through and bolt it down, drill the holes, run some bolts through, tighten her down. That's fantastic, all sitting in place, and it looks good. I'm actually super excited how that turned out because, like I said, I kind of just designed this entire thing on the fly, and look at that. That is so cool. We gotta go through, cover up some of these gaps here, seal them, probably put like a 2x4 in the corner, you know, put a bunch of silicone on the back. This stuff is great. It's already hard as a rock, so that's awesome. Probably go along the back of this wall too, seal it all up. You know, like I said, it doesn't need to be fully airtight, but things like this, anything we can do to direct more air coming through this about 15 feet of filter is gonna be, you know, worth it. There's a turbo can door, and there's the other door. Look at how good this turbo can door actually turned out. It looks good. It's already dusty. So is this camera. Look at that. This thing looks awesome. And like I said, it is dusty, but it's a super nice gloss black, and it's gonna look so good on the outside of this booth. The inside of the door will look like this, and then the outside of the door will look like that. So turbo can, worth it. We're gonna definitely spray this other one with another one probably soon. Test fitting this tube here. This looks great. These are the tubes I picked up from my buddy, but these rings, I'm probably gonna steal it off of one of them. There is 3. So what we're gonna do is take those self tappers out, take these rings off, and then simply attach it to our 90-degree elbow, and we'll be able to bolt this to the top of the fan and then bolt the other side to the next tube. And then coming back here, here's the other tube. There's the fan sitting there. We still need to finish the back of this wall. The top piece will sit on it, and then it'll tip out, go out, and we'll get the hole drilled right about there. Now, there's one thing I just don't have here yet, and this part of the paint booth, as you can see, there's an outlet up there. Don't mind our cuts. Obviously, we're gonna fix all that. We only had a Sawzall at the time. I'm trying to make this probably the best possible, coolest environment I can. What would be better than if you're working on something on the lift? Eventually, we're gonna upgrade this lift, but if you're working on something on the lift, there is a TV on the wall right here. So that's exactly what I'm gonna do. We're putting a TV right there, and underneath it here, because I don't really want all of this. I had all the Milwaukee chargers and random odds and ends things, drill bits, you know, on a table back there. Well, I don't want any of that anymore. I wanted a workbench right here because working around the lift, we don't really have one of those. So it's quite difficult, but I wanted a workbench, and I haven't got one to this day because they are so freaking expensive. They really are. But I'm going to show you how to make a better workbench that's cheaper and frankly hell of a lot better than anything you can buy. You see that right there? This whole thing of pallet racking. I don't even know, all those beams. I got all the wire decking. I got all the uprights. I think 14 feet tall and 8 feet wide, 12 feet. I forget what we got. But this whole section here, found it on Marketplace for $1,600, and it's great. It's really fantastic. You can put a lot of stuff up there. Probably one of the most important things here, and I'm eventually going to get more, put it on the other side after we move everything around. However, this right here also came with all of that, and what we have here is one that is damaged. You can see it right there. You could probably bend it back and fix it and do all that. However, we're not going to do that today. We're going to completely annihilate this entirely. We're gonna make ourselves a 36-inch workbench here. Eventually the toolbox will go right here, a 72-incher, and then I can build around this as I choose, put the cabinet on top, work down here, put shelves on it. That's kind of why the plywood on the outside was key. But here, what we're gonna do is build a workbench because we don't have one. I think on Marketplace around here, the going rate for these things is like 35 bucks a beam, and then an upright, just say 50. Like, I don't know. It's quite expensive if you add it up for something like this. This whole section, $1,600 for all that. It also came with the decking, but if you're making a workbench, all you really need is one upright and, you know, 4 cross members, and then you have 2 really nice workbenches. 14-foot uprights here, and like I said, I think they might go for 50 bucks. Because this one was damaged here, we had to figure out kind of how we could split this up. And like I said, the original plan is to have 2 workbenches. I do need to obtain 2 more cross beams. We'll get there, and then I'll make another workbench out of it. But I might make this other one longer, so I just need to get some longer ones. And that's the cool part about this. You can make it as long or as short or as tall as you like. Custom made, less than $200. And it's probably the best one you'll ever have. We came up with 38 and 1/8. Top of the table about right here, or I guess the workbench. That's pretty good, at least waist level for me. Ashley just mentioned, like, if I'm throwing something heavy on it, you don't want to like pick it up to here. So that's about good, about waist level. I think it'll be sharp. And we'll actually be able to make 4 out of this. Other thing that we're gonna have to note is these, when we get to them, as you can see, some of them get split like this, and if any of them do need moved or adjusted, we can cut and weld that up if we need to, but we should be okay. Let's get to cutting this, and then we'll kind of get it set up and then show you the next steps. If you want my honest opinion, don't waste your time. Just buy nice Sawzall blades. That's one thing I've learned. This will outcut a cheap one, and by multiple times, and you won't fight it. So I'll just do that. I'm also picking a Sawzall because it will probably give me a clean cut. If you had a chop saw, that'd be great. Cutoff wheel could end up crooked, but I'm just gonna go straight through it with a thick metal blade here. Now here is the next part of, I guess, your workbench here. Obviously, we could do some grinding, get it all sanded down so everything's flush. That's no problem. However, it is time to pick your top. You can make this out of wood, metal, truly whatever you like. As you can see, here's a couple things. Some plywood will fit in here. This also happens to be, however, 1.5 inches tall. So technically you could come here, cut these to length, put a whole bunch of 2x4s if you wish, 2x8s. You can do 2 stacks of 3/4 inch plywood. That would be a heavy duty top. You could also come in here and put 1/4 inch, supports and 1/4 inch plate and have a steel top table. Literally, it is up to you. We just picked up 2 2x12s and we're gonna cut them to length. It just was giving us more space between gaps on top of the workbench for little bolts and little screws, and it's all going to be cut to length so it perfectly fits in here, and then you can finish it whatever way you like, but we're going to cut those and get them all slapped in here. Alright guys, well there you have it. There's probably the best workbench for the money you can have. Now, fortunate enough for me, like I said, when we bought all of this pallet racking, this last beam was free because how the bottom was twisted, and that's where this whole idea came from, is that, well, if we just cut that end off because we're not going to use it as pallet racking and turn it into a workbench, it would just help out a ton and be relatively cheap. My other buddy happened to have an excess of pallet racking sitting in his yard, and he let me get away with 2 of these beams for free as well. So lucky for me. The only thing, you know, my cost in is the wood, and I think I have about 45 to 50 bucks in it, if you want to count this 2x4 I had from the paint booth as well. But we've got 2x12s in here. Every one of these in the middle is a 2x12, and then in the end here is a 2x4. This one, obviously, put it in there, send them all this way, and then if you tap it in, we're missing, like, I think we're like 1/8 of an inch off on this entire thing for it to fit perfectly. But because wood, you give it a little, you know, assistance, it'll go in there, and it's nice and tight. The best part about this workbench as well is it's fully customizable. You can add as many shelves as you want. You could get 2 more 10-foot beams and then put the wire decking on it. If you just want to actually use it as shelves, you could do the wood again. Literally whatever. If you wanted to, you don't have to cut it. Make yourself a little work chest area. Obviously on this one, because there will be a TV on the wall here, we can't really, you know, keep this going up and putting the chest there. So I just want to share this with you guys because this is probably one of, you know, the better things to know. Save you a ton of money, because if you're outfitting a shop, you know, like me, or your home garage, or anything for that matter, you're going to save a ton of money doing this with a couple, you know, marketplace finds. Even if you bought the pieces new, the uprights and the cross members, it's still going to be cheaper doing that and adding wood or whatever top you want, steel, whatever. It is still going to be cheaper than ordering a workbench online. I promise you that. It's like one of those things where it's like no brainer. If you guys enjoyed this video, shoot a thumbs up. If you haven't been here before, please get down there, click subscribe, drop me a comment if you haven't already. Take care, and I will see you guys in the next one.